honor for you to...
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Konnichiwa, Your Excellency, the Japanese Ambassador to Fiji, the CEO of Fiji Airways, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. After what the CEO has said, I don't have much to say, except to essentially, firstly, recognize the hard work that's been going on behind the scenes in terms of redeveloping this route and recommencing the gateway to Japan through Narita. As you know, Fiji used to fly to Japan a few years ago, and that of course had stopped. Also, many people may also remember the time when Fiji Airways wasn't doing very well. And Fiji Airways actually has come out of that conundrum from that point in time. And over the past few years, in the recent past, it has been able to develop itself again into a airline that is now being taken notice of by other players within the industry, not just in Fiji, of course, but within the region and indeed internationally. And I'd like to firstly acknowledge and thank the team led by the CEO, his management team, the management staff in the engineering division, in the catering division, in the flight attendants, everybody else that actually has come together to ensure that Fiji Airways, which was actually a loss-making proposition only a few years ago, is today making now unprecedented profits. And this can only happen if it has been able to take a very broad approach, an international approach, and indeed a team approach. And that team approach, ladies and gentlemen, is not only dependent on the team at Fiji Airways, but the team within Fiji too. So it's the operators, AFL, CAF, the inbound operators, the outbound operators, all the other stakeholders. And indeed, I would say, even the taxi drivers. Everybody else is actually involved in the tourism sector. The people who work within our hotels, the actual properties themselves, the tourism associations. We all need to be able to understand that we need to be able to work together to ensure that Fiji remains a premium product. That is very, very critical for us to be able to understand that. Secondly, of course, we place a very strong emphasis on our relationship with Japan. Japan has been a development partner for Fiji and with Fiji for a number of years. I'd like to thank the Japanese government for the interest and indeed their contribution in recent time, in particular after Cyclone Winston. We have, of course, a number of other opportunities with Japan in the technical front from a business perspective. And furthermore, what we have seen now is that Fiji is developing very much into a regional hub of various international organizations. And for Fiji to have that level of connectivity with the Pacific Rim countries, as I've said previously, Fiji Airways now flies to every single continent that rims the Pacific Ocean except South America. That is perhaps our next frontier. And we need to be able to ensure that the development partners that are working with us, the international organizations, we foster that relationship, and that relationship obviously can be further engendered by connectivity. Connectivity is very, very critical for us. So ladies and gentlemen, this announcement is a wonderful announcement. As the CEO has also mentioned that they're looking at bringing in another A330, which opens up opportunities with Singapore. As you know, we started up with Singapore twice a week. The Fijian government has entered into a marketing partnership with Fiji Airways, where we've been making an allocation of $18 million a year to ensure that Singapore is positioned well. Singapore, of course, is the gateway to Asian countries like China and, of course, India. And we've got codeshare arrangements now with Jet Airways, and of course we've got American Airlines. We've got various other airlines that Andre had mentioned that they are working with and look forward to working with in the very near future. So government, of course, has taken a very strategic view and a strategic perspective. We think long term. We don't think up till our noses. Unfortunately, some others do. But we need, all of us as a team, need to think long term and how we can protect the product, the Fijian product, and how we are able to then build upon through our national carrier. The national carrier is very important. I'd like to say this lastly. For a country where we have in excess of nearly over 1/3 of our GDP being dependent on tourism, we need to ensure we have a strong national carrier, in particular when we're an island state. In particular, when over 90%, if not more, of those people who come and visit us come by an aeroplane. So you need to have a national carrier that is strong. You need to have a national carrier that is, of course, based in your nation. And we can only do so if we all work together as a team. So thank you once again, Andre, for this and your hard work and the vision and the team. We, of course, look forward to even better announcements. I think one other point that perhaps was lost in people, we've, as you know, have been investing in airports in Fiji itself. The AFL, the CEO is here. We're working on the extension of the airstrip in Rotuma. We will now have the ATRs landing in Rotuma. We are looking at opportunities, of course, in Vanuatu in the long term. We're looking at opportunities in Tabuni for extension of that. Fiji Airways through Fiji Link is now placed an order for 5 of the replacement
Twin
Otters,
the Viking 400.
the Viking 400s. I flew in one yesterday. It is very good. It is actually air conditioned. You don't need to use the magazine to fan yourself any longer. All of this, ladies and gentlemen, is product development. And we need to be able to position and market Fiji a lot better. And this requires consistency in policies. It requires a plan for the future. Thank you once again, and Your Excellency, thank you for your presence here. And we look forward to even furthering our relationship with you. Vinaka, thank you.